Helldivers 2 did two things that the whole gaming industry said you shouldn't do. Number one is making a live service game or a game as a service. And number two is adding microtransactions. And you're probably wondering, how is it that you could do two things that the gaming industry says you shouldn't do and yet be successful doing the opposite? Well, today we're going to dive in and talk about how Helldivers 2 has shaken up the entire gaming industry and redefined games as a service and redefined microtransactions and overall redefined the way we play games. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So as you guys know, Helldivers has grown to a massive success. If you look back a couple months ago before the game was released, a lot of you would probably say that you weren't even planning on playing Helldivers. If that's the case, I actually want to know what made you actually try the game. Was it the large amount of people saying that the game was really good? Was it the gameplay? Was it the fun that your friends were having? Please let me know in the comment section down below. But with that massive success also comes great criticism, and with that great criticism also comes great accomplishments. And that is what we're going to be talking about today, which I believe are the four fundamental pillars that makes Helldivers such a successful game. And these fundamental pillars that we're going to be talking about today, I believe need to be in this priority in order for the game to be able to be successful. Number one, let's start off with the top, and that is, what is the reason you're making this game? If the reason you're making a particular game is for the aspect of pushing an idea, or it's the aspect of making more money, or it's the aspect of seeing how much times a player spends playing the game in order to get an item, then this is definitely going to be a bad way to start. The number one priority whenever you decide to make a game, or whenever a developer or a AAA company decides to make a game, it should be fun. And I believe that's the reason why you see a lot of games like Super Mario, a lot of games like The Legend of Zelda, a lot of games that were made in pretty old times, I would say, are still successful to this date, because the game has always prioritized being fun before adding any microtransactions. Heck, Nintendo doesn't even have the best state-of-the-art console, and yet people still buy them by droves due to the fact that their games are fun to play. And not only that, but they're also very good. And I personally feel that this is one of the main components while AAA games have actually been doing really bad. You know, we got a lot of really good companies that are actually closing down. We got EA removing a bunch of games. Sony canceled a bunch of live service games due to the fact that the main core pillar of live service games is the microtransactions and the monetization of set games. And the reason is because these games are primarily focused on the monetary aspect of the game without making the game fun. And this leads me to my number two pillar, and that is games as a service, aka live service games or microtransactions where they fall into place. I think Helldivers gave everybody the roadmap, and I feel like that's why a lot of these games are getting canceled, because they see the different roadmap that Helldivers took and they want to implement them on their new games, but that format does not work well with the format they currently had. What did Helldivers do? Helldivers did two major things that made their microtransactions work well. Number one, they provided a free version of the microtransaction aspect. Now, the thing that they did that other companies do not do is actually give the better rewards for the free version of the microtransaction aspect, and made the paid version not only an optional version, but made the paid version have good items, but not better than the free version. I hope this makes perfect sense, because I feel that is what's been hurting the microtransactions of the live service games so much, is the fact that when they do the microtransactions, they make the paid version the best option and made the free version the secondary option. And what Helldivers did here, they reversed it. They made the free version really good, and they made the paid version mostly cosmetic, mostly aesthetics. And yes, you do have a little bit of advantage, but it's not even that huge of an advantage. Hence, I would say it's not even noticeable. You can't tell me the best gun is found in the paid version. You could actually pick up the best gun in the free version. Now, the other thing they went and did a step for them further was giving everybody the ability to get access to the paid version of the AKA Battle Pass, or War Bonds in this case, by farming materials within their missions. What does this do? It creates a psyche to the player that says, hey, I can get something for free. All I have to do is grind. And what does grind do? It allows people to come in to play the game repetitively. Now, there has been games that have tried to adapt this formula, never giving the player the option to purchase the paid version of the game, but they just want you to replay the game to get materials, as opposed to having you unlock the paid version of everything. In addition to that, they even went a step even further, that their microtransaction shop, you're able to actually get these credits by playing the game. Something that I would say hasn't really been done before at this level. And that is the reason why the microtransactions are actually working in Helldivers. I think this is a huge step in showing what actually works, and I expect way more games that are going to be coming out this year or in the future adopt these two tactics. Now, pillar number 3, and that is communication and transparency. One of the biggest factors when AAA games come out is the lack of transparency that is found within the development team, community manager, whoever they put in charge, or CEO. There is absolutely zero communication and zero transparency when it comes to certain AAA games. In addition to that, Arrowhead actually takes it a step even further. You actually have the CEO interacting with the community. You have the CEO being extremely transparent. You have the community manager being extremely transparent, answering questions, replying back. And one of the greatest thing is letting us know that our feedback is actually doing something to better the game. I have played a lot of AAA games. I've given multiple advices to a lot of AAA games that I've been invited to, that I've been asked to give my opinion, asked to give my feedback. And the majority of the feedback that not only myself, but other community members have actually given to these companies has gone to deaf ears. The opposite has happened here in Helldivers. Not only are they implementing the stuff that the community is asking for, they're going a step even further. They're actually replying. They're talking back. They're having a dialogue. They're explaining why things are happening. And that is the reason why you see this game did not fail when almost the majority of games that would be AAA would have fallen to its knees. As you guys know, one of the biggest problems that Helldivers had, it was being plagued by the servers dropping and people not even being able to connect. That would literally destroy almost any AAA game that comes out. The internet would be fuming and people would be asking to cancel the game. Now, you know what happened with Helldivers? It actually had the opposite effect. It actually made the game more popular. And the reason behind this was the transparency of the CEO. Number one, they stated the problem. Number two, they stated how they were going to fix the problem. And number three, they actually said, don't buy the game. Wait, don't buy the game. I know you guys want to play the game. Don't buy the game until we actually solve the server issues. Because if you buy the game right now, there's going to be a possibility you might not be able to log in. Any greedy person would have said, yo, purchase the game. We're going to fix this as soon as possible. No, they're telling you know what? There's a problem. We're going to fix it. But if you don't want to buy the game, you don't have to buy it. You could just wait till we actually fix the problem. And what did this do? It made the community rally up against the development team, against the studio, to say, hey, let's fix this together. We're going to stick with you as a team. We're in this as a team. We're in this together. And that is due to the fact that there's been communication and transparency. And pillar number 4 is innovation. Now, a lot of people that you talk in the industry will tell you that PvE in a multiplayer game is completely dead. You can't literally make just a PvE game and have it flourish. Now, that is what the industry says. As you guys know, there's been other companies, for example, Arc Raiders, that transitioned the game from just a PvE only concept to a PvP focused game because they felt this would actually get more people to play the game. Helldivers has done completely opposite once again and focused primarily on PvE, but the way they did it so smartly. They did it by innovating. And one of the greatest things about innovation is the fact that they have this game master that actually controls the game as you're playing the game. And that is such a simple idea, but it's so innovative in a way that it makes the game feel like you're actually living a live event. And this is basically what live service games need to have. They need to have some sort of life. That's the reason it's called a live service game. Things need to be changing dynamically. Things need to be affected by the decision the player makes. And this is what's being noticed with this game, is every decision us Helldivers make, every decision we take, whatever planet we will go ahead and try to liberate, is going to have an effect on the war, hence making the game a complete life service game because you feel like you're actually accomplishing something. You're liberating something and it has a purpose and it has a meaning. Even though it doesn't have an extensive storyline or an extensive in-depth lore, you still are able to grasp the idea that something that you're doing is having some sort of effect, especially in Super Earth. And I feel that innovation alone is what sets this game apart from other ones. I believe these 4 pillars will be applied to future games that are coming, and you are going to be able to see them with your own eyes. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about how the Game Master operates, I highly recommend you check out this video that's popping up right now on the screen, where I go in depth and talk about more of the role of the Game Master and how his controlling of the game actually dictates the future of Super Earth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do me the huge favor, guys, drop a comment, drop a like, but most importantly, subscribe, turn those notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later.